Hello everyone, to this video of ours we are making let's do some animation, and it's going to be an amazing animation for today. We'll try to do something impressive. I hope you are following with me. So we go to File from Photoshop and then New, and we have Make Save here. So we press on it. So sorry about that, there was a problem with the Photoshop. Never mind, we will be making a new, and then we can go to Save, and I have saved this resolution 1024 by 768 in pixels, of course, and this is the resolution 264. Let's go ahead and make it 768 height with a width of 1024 pixels. In pixels here we have it, and of course, as you can see, we have here orientation with the portrait mode, and with no attributes. We don't need attributes. Resolution can be 150, can be 100, can be 70. I would rather put it on 100 pixels per inch. Then we go to the RGB color. Here we have an amazing RGB colors of 8 bits. Then to the background, I'd rather put it in a darker area in order to not hurt the eyes of the developer and of the guy who is making the pictures. On the color filter here we have it, and square pixels are okay. Then we could hit create. Also we can save it as I have done here, and to do that you have to basically go and to the preset details here and rename it maybe to the pad air, then save it and go ahead and make it put a name for this like I do. Let's say 1024 by 768. Let's save this, and we don't need this other save here, so we would delete it. Then hit create. And of course, this is a series not only about drawing, it is also a series about the heart and how the heart functions. This is going to be educational series, learning how to manage the heart. As you can see here, the heart, where is it? We'll draw the heart, the right atrium and left ventricle. Let's go ahead and read the first paragraph here talking about the heart, and later we will be drawing the heart in order for you to understand what does that really mean. Here we go, we will outline it and then we will draw it. So the heart consists of 4 chambers, the right and left atria and the right and left ventricles. Again, the heart consists of 4 chambers, the right and left atria and the right and left ventricles. The chambers are arranged as 2 chambers in series on each side. Don't worry for those who don't understand, we'll be drawing them and it will be easy. The chambers are arranged as 2 chambers in series on each side. The atria above the ventricles. Essentially, the heart consists of 2 parallel pumps. The right atria and the ventricles receive oxygenated blood from the systemic circulation. Again, the heart consists of 2 parallel pumps, the right atrium and ventricle receiving deoxygenated blood. So this is the heart, as you can see here, and it has the right atria and the right ventricle. Right atria and the right ventricle. The heart consists of 2 parallel pumps, the right atria and ventricles receiving deoxygenated blood from the systemic circulation and pumping the deoxygenated blood via the pulmonary trunk to the lungs, where gaseous exchange takes place and blood is oxygenated. Now let's change the color of the pencil in order to draw oxygenated blood. Of course, oxygenated blood returns to the left atria of the heart. And if this is the heart, we say this is the left atria of the heart passing to the left ventricle to supply the tissues with oxygen. So it passes from here to here to supply the tissues with oxygen and other nutrients. Again, passing to the left ventricle, where it is pumped via the aorta through the systemic circulation to supply the tissues with the oxygen and other nutrients. Read it again, passing to the left ventricle, where it's pumped via the aorta. This is the aorta coming from the left ventricle, aorta, and this is the aorta coming to the left ventricle via the aorta through the systemic circulation to supply tissues with oxygen and other nutrients. Then we can see here valves guard the orifices between the aorta and ventricles, and the ventricles and the pulmonary trunk. And the aorta prevent backflow of blood as pressure changes occur in the chambers and vessels. Let's read this again for you to understand and for me, of course. Valves guard the orifices. Here we can see valves guard the orifices between the aorta and the ventricles and the pulmonary trunk. Let's highlight it in order to understand it better. Valves guard the orifices between the atria and the ventricles and the pulmonary trunk and aorta to prevent backflow of blood as pressure change occurs in the chamber and vessels. Valves guard orifices between the atria and ventricles. Let's draw it. Atria and the ventricles and the pulmonary trunk. Ventricles and the pulmonary trunk here, from the right ventricle to the pulmonary trunk, and from the left ventricle to the aorta. Left ventricle to the aorta, right ventricle to the pulmonary trunk. We have pulmonary to prevent backflow of blood. They are called valves. Again, valves prevent backflow of blood as pressure changes occur in the chambers and vessels. So there is pressure going down, pressure going up, and these valves protect between atria and ventricle, and between ventricle and aorta, between ventricles and pulmonary trunk. Thank you for listening, and let's draw. And thank you for watching too. Let's draw this on Photoshop in order to understand it even more. Let's make a fill here. I hope you can see the little mouse on the screen, or maybe I should make it even bigger so that you can see it better in the next episode. But for now, it's a very simple matter. We just wanted to make a frame out of this frame. In order to do that, you would have to choose the rectangular here and draw a full rectangle around the table. Then you choose fill option and choose any color that you like. This is it, how to make a frame in the small frame. And in the next step, we usually draw a heart just to resemble the heart we have read here just now. This is the heart we have read. I will show you the heart. This is it, the heart. And this is the paragraph we have read before that we will draw now. To make a heart, we simply, after we made this amazing frame of ours, now we simply add a layer, a new layer here. As you can see, press this button. Then we choose the pen tool in order to draw our heart. Some people don't know how to draw the heart, but fortunately I am very professional in drawing hearts. We just press here one click, then we press and drag until a good shape of heart becomes obvious. Then we draw another line here, another one here, and we click and drag in this process to make this path and just connect it to our dot that we have begun to draw. Later we choose fill and choose a color for our heart, whether it be yellow, green, purple. I like yellow, so we will stick with yellow. Now what do we do? Many people ask, now we have the heart, what should we do with it? I will do as the paragraph says. The heart consists of 4 chambers, right and left atria, and the right and left ventricles. I do precisely what this drawing, what the paragraph say. So let's do this, and it is very simple indeed. We just have to go now to the stroke here and make sure you are on shape and have chosen the pencil tool. Then go and increase the stroke. Later, just go on the box here, on the square, hold, and choose the line. Then we will make of course, what they call it, the valves between the aorta and ventricle. This is the left one, and this is the right valve. Also make sure to name everything here, including the heart and including the right valve and the left valve too. And this is the background. We don't have to name it. Now please focus with me as we have finished drawing this amazing object, and it is a very nice one and everything is cool with it. Now let's delete the stroke from it, because we want to make the right and left atrium and the right and left ventricles as it is here from the paragraph. Right and left ventricles, chambers are chained to chamber in the series. The aorta above the ventricles above, ventricles below, or the aorta above the ventricles. The figure essentially. The heart consists of 2 parallel pumps, the right atria and the ventricles receiving deoxygenated blood from the systemic circulation and the pumping deoxygenated blood via the pulmonary trunk. Here we can make a new color and make sure that this is deoxygenated, receiving deoxygenated. The ventricles, the heart consists of 2 parallel pumps, the right and ventricles. The right atrium and ventricles receives deoxygenated blood from the systemic circulation, of course, and pumping the deoxygenated blood via the pulmonary trunk to the lungs, where gaseous exchange takes place and the blood is originated. So here we have maybe 4 things: atrium, ventricles, atrium, ventricles, and of course we have the pulmonary trunk. Of course, the pulmonary trunk is located on the right atrium. On the right ventricle here. Let's draw that on the Photoshop. Here we have selected the pen tool, and we can see here that there is path and there is shape. We will go with shape for now, and we will choose the stroke and get rid of it, because it is so hard to work with strokes if you want to color different segments of the heart. Also, please select V or choose the select tool or move tool. Some people say move tool, some people say select tool. Move these lines dividing the heart a little downward in order to just block or define the right atrium. You also want choose Ctrl T on keyboard in order to transform these amazing and cool lines, just like that. Later, of course, we will be coloring. I will select the heart layer here and add a new layer. I will call it color RV. That means the right ventricle. Enter. And of course, this is the right ventricle. This one, let's color it with a blue color. Let's go ahead and do that. But before we do that, let's choose the heart because it's a very important choice to make. Right-click after clicking Move or any other tool. Then I would rather choose the circle tool, the rectangular tool here, and then we will choose. Maybe I will choose the pen tool instead. Yes, this time I will choose the pen tool and make a selection. Enter. And now I will go to the color layer that we have created, and then start coloring inside boundaries the right ventricle. Very nice, very relaxing thing to do is to color in Photoshop. It gives you many amazing thoughts on how to do things the right way, because coloring is all about understanding how to make the color perfect. And I will make the right atrium and ventricle red because they contain the oxygenated blood. If you want to change the size of the brush, of course I chose the brush tool previously in order to color this heart of ours, and I will be coloring it. And I am using Ctrl Z from time to time in order to make the change occur. If I make a mistake, excuse me. I don't know if we were recording or not, but as I was saying, the left aorta will be here, and the right pulmonary trunk will be here. Here trunk, and here aorta. And now, if we want to finish this amazing episode, it is so simple. We want to make the right trunk of the pulmonary vessel and the left aorta. Of course, both of which are coming from ventricles. Let's begin with the right pulmonary trunk. If you want to make the right pulmonary trunk, please add a new layer. Let's call it the right pulmonary trunk. And let's go ahead and from the pen tool, we can draw the shape of how will this right pulmonary trunk will be. Let's go ahead and draw something like that. Let's complete it, and it will be like an arch going like this, and then finishing out of the screen. If you want to change and exchange, make it better, choose the selection tool and make it a little higher, a little shorter, just like how am I doing with the pen, with the selection tool, something like this. Then simply go to the, of course, when you chose this, you have to make sure it's on path, and it is on this section right here. If you can see it, I will zoom in order for you to make sure that you put it here, because it's very important to choose this and make it on path. Then later you have to go to the brush and make a big brush, because this will be a tube. Choose the color for your tube outline, and then go back to the pen tool, right click and stroke path, then simply choose OK. Here we have it, an amazing tube. Later just duplicate this layer in order to finish it. Also call it right pulmonary tube, and this time it will be lining what is inside. So we call it right pulmonary through tube inside. Then go to the brush tool and make it smaller. Then maybe you make it a feather. Brush tool. It will be better to show a feather. But again, make it smaller. Feather like this. You choose this. You choose that. Doesn't matter. Again, now because it's taken in deoxygenated blood, it's easily just choose the right color here. Deoxygenated blue color. Go back to pen or just click P on the keyboard. Right click. Stroke path. OK. And there we have it. If you want to finish it, just go to the brush and finish just like that. It will be like taking the blood from the right position and filling it to the right selection. Let me just choose the right color here, and we will go shortly beginning with the aorta. If you haven't understood what I have done, we will be going to the aorta and do it again. So please focus. And after making the selection here with the pen tool, then we go to the brush tool and make it bigger and harder. Increase the hardness. Then go to the pen tool again. Right click and stroke path. Brush. OK. It is a little bigger from the last time because the aorta is a very big organ. Later go to the brush and make it smaller, as you can see here. Then choose the red blood because it's taking the oxygenated blood, of course. Then simply choose pen tool, right click on here, stroke path. OK. And there we have it. I made it a smaller brush in order to make the right correct placing for it, because the bigger brush was like this and I didn't like to have it very big. This time it is better. And this is now the aorta, and this is the pulmonary trunk. Please forgive me, everyone. I have forgotten to make amazing layer like this right pulmonary right pulmonary and right pulmonary inside. This was a mistake because I was in a hurry and I didn't realize that until now. I will make a fix. I will make this one is wrong, so I will delete it and repeat it. It's not very wrong. It's just having these layers not correctly named and made. So this one is right and this one is wrong. I will delete it and make it just like this one. Okay, so now we have properly made it an amazing layers. I will zoom in for you just to see how amazing it is. Pulmonary, left pulmonary, this one, and left aorta. Let's rename it aorta. And of course this one is lining, or just like this one inside, let's call it. And this one is outside. Very neat and very proper. This one is inside and outside. And now everyone to the last move. I have made some changes here with the brush tool, and you can also make some changes just to make it look like a tube. You make it a little bit smoother here, just to know that this is the aorta. Now you choose the selection tool here, then you check box show transfer controls, just in case. Choose this inside here and move it a little to the right and to the left. Choose the other one inside and also move it in order to look like a tube, something like that. I can't say it is perfect, but it works for me. Later, check this box to confirm the selection. Then choose filter, blur, and choose blur many times. Later, reduce the opacity. I can't say it is perfect, and it is not the worst thing I have ever seen in my life, this aorta, but it works. Let's move on to the pulmonary. It's going to be better, I promise. Just move it a little bit and do the same thing. Filter blur about 13 or 14 times. Later change the opacity and should look like a tube. And this is it for today. This lecture we have concluded. What do we have here? The aorta, the heart, pulmonary valves, or they are called the valves between the aorta and semilunar valves and bicuspid. These are tricuspid valves, and these are bicuspid valves, atrioventricular valves, and pulmonary and aortic valves. Thank you for joining this amazing lecture. We have made many nice things with let's read and let's draw and let's do stuff on the internet.